why we are here. Thanks to AMPECO for hosting us. We want to introduce you eViolin, explain you what do we do. We will start with a short speech from the chairman of the board, Jaco, and then we are gonna have the speech from our members, actually, for 4 different members of eViolin, to give you an idea of what we do, how do we do it, and why do we do it. In few words, you will learn that eViolin is an association that is a European association focusing on solving interoperability issues. So Jaco, please come on stage. I'm sure you can describe better what eViolin is and what do we do.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think now you can. So I'm between the good conversation we have with our members, so I keep it short, right? But I think it's important to use this opportunity to talk to you about what eViolin is doing, right? So we are a pretty old organization. I think we're almost 15 years old, and the real purpose of eViolin is to drive interoperability in Europe. And what we mean by this is driving the interoperability is that we want to make practical agreements with each other between CPOs, EMSPs, platforms and hubs in order to make sure that everything excels, that we can work together on a better way and that we can work together on a safer way on fraud or security, but also on invoicing or on token security. And every topic that we all have and problems that we face, that we can work with them together. Actually, to also prevent that things happen that we make laws or regulation where we don't need it, because we can also make practical agreements between each other. And therefore,
we can grab a chat there.
And therefore, it's important that we have a group of people from every party within the organization, and where we have those conversations. We have those conversations in working groups, yes. And this is really driving the change. I think it's also important that it's not about us, but it's not about the board, but it's about the members. So that's why I'm really happy that we found a lot of members that can have a much better understanding or explain to you what we are doing and the reason why, and also the way we do it, how we drive interoperability in Europe. If there are any questions on what we do as an organization, European-wide, starting from today, you will also see people wearing next to the nice object and AMPECO one, the eViolin one. So if you have questions, you can ask them as well why they are a member and why not, or why it's ridiculous that you're not a member yet, right? So that's basically all I need to say, and then give the floor back to Michele. Thank you very much.
Sorry, before leaving, Jaco, in few words, can you say how do we do everything? So.
Yeah.
It's a hard question, I know.
Especially the few words, right? I think that's difficult for me. So basically we do 3 things. We inform, we define, and we agree. Those are the 3 things that we do within eViolin. With inform is that we share the information through the entire industry. So everything we learn, everything that we see from one member, we distribute it to all the other members so that we don't make the same mistakes again and again and again with all the parties, big parties and small parties. The second thing is that we define. So if there is a solution needed for a certain topic like fraud, we define a certain solution. And I think that's a very important part. And then next to that, we agree. And we agree is that we determine with all of us, and we're going to do this on Thursday, we have the General Assembly, and then we vote on certain topics. And we say, this is how we're going to do it as a member of eViolin, and then it will become a part of our agreement or of our code of conduct. And that's the reason, and also the things that we do within eViolin. I hope this was the answer you were looking for. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jaco. Thanks, Jaco. A big applause for Jaco.
Thank you.
So I guess you have now a better picture of what we do at eViolin. Now the question, who can join eViolin? Actually, every CPO, EMP, platform or roaming hub can be a member of eViolin. And that's what we are going to show you now with our members. Please come on stage and then you can introduce yourself. We start with Irina.
afternoon. Yeah, can you hear me good? So my name is Irina. I'm Interoperability Manager Europe at Blink Charging.
Thank you. Then we have Arjen.
Hello, good afternoon everybody. My name is Arjen van der Kooi. I work at Q8 Electric for the Benelux as a product manager in eMobility mobility provider. And in eViolin, I'm the chairman of the workgroup Token Security.
Thank you very much. Adriana.
Everyone, I hope everyone can hear me. My name is Adriana Fricke. I'm the Senior Manager for Public Policy for Hubject based in Brussels.
Thank you. And then last but not least, I guess you know him. You have seen already on the stage a couple of times. Petar.
Hello everyone, as I mentioned in the previous session as well, I'm part of the AMPECO team, coordinating our participation across industry associations and then working with our subject matter experts on all the different topics.
Perfect. So welcome everybody. Please pay attention to what these guys are going to tell you because it's going to be really, really interesting. So we start with you, Irina.
Pressure.
Immediately. Welcome again.
Thank you.
You are a really active member of the working group POI. Can you tell us a bit more about this working group and in particular why you are joining this working group?
Blink Charging, just as any CPO, wants to be sure that the POI data, the one that is shared from CPO to MSP and further to the driver, is complete, is accurate, so we don't have any issues with the end users charging at those charging stations. And of course, we are all part of the bigger ecosystem, right? So we are working between the protocol requirements and local and European regulations and all this amazing technical innovation that we have, like smart charging and so on and so forth. And we need to bring it all together. So if you talk about POI group specifically, this is the best way to talk to the specialists from the top CPO and MSP companies in Europe and discuss what are the challenges and what are the hot topics at the moment. Just as Jaco said previously, right? So first of all, we inform each other about the challenges we have, and then we try to find a solution that will work not just for one bilateral connection or technical integration, but actually for all of the members within eViolin. And if we have, when we have such a solution, we do share this publicly, right? So what is the best way of handling various issues? Because at the end of the day, we all want to make interoperability easier within our world, but also externally towards the drivers who are trying to charge their EVs every day.
Thanks. So I think you mentioned the right word, specialist. So that's what happened in eViolin. Real specialists are sitting all together, trying to find solutions to problem, working together, identifying the problem from a practical point of view. Could you maybe give a short example of one of the statements you are facing in this working group, or in general, how do you approach the statement, the problem, and what kind of output the working group is providing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the recent topics that we discussed was charge points with limited access. So they are published on the maps. Drivers can see them, but sometimes it might be behind the bar at the hotel facility, so to be used by guests only, or something similar. So there isn't a real way of marking such locations in the protocol, so we had to sit together and understand what kind of workaround, how we can actually make it easy and visible for CPO, MSP, and the driver as the end user. And I think we did a pretty good job there by using the parking restrictions, basically. So now we already have a white paper published for different protocols, different versions of protocols, what is the best way to identify these limited locations. So yeah, I think it's a great example. You know, we are all competitors if you look at it from the outside world, but within eViolin, we're all working together to get to the same solution and working on the same goal, basically. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree, but I'm part of the association, so for me it's easy. I hope that the message has been shared also with the attendee of this panel. Thanks a lot, Irina, for providing your input. The working group POI is not the only working group existing into eViolin. As of today, we have different working groups. Another important working group is the token security one, which is led by Arjen. Arjen, can you tell us a bit more about this working group? What do you do there? How do you face the problems? And in general, what are all the problems that you are facing?
Yeah. In the work group token security, we are aiming that the current ecosystem that and the technology that is used for EV charging tokens, that it is secure. And for my company, Q8, our customers are used to very secure fuel tokens. And it's our drive also to, together with the industry, work towards very secure electric EV charging tokens. And then, for example, that such tokens not can easily be copied, which is known in the industry today. There is a lot of talking about that, but of course, we are here taking an initiative to work together and make sure that we make progress on enhancing the token technology and make it more secure. For me, also in a broader perspective, the EV charging tokens are a big part of our ecosystem today. And although, of course, a lot of stations will accept open loop payments, also the EV charging tokens will play a big role in the coming years. So it's important that, more in general, the public do trust these tokens. Otherwise, the scale up of our EV market, and also with that, the transition to sustainable mobility might be limited. So it is our aim to make sure that such tokens are secure, and but for example also that the data that is exchanged between the issuers and the networks, that data is secure. And so we're looking not only at the card, but more or less also to the whole to the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, this makes sense. I think that it's clear to everybody that security is becoming more and more a topic in our ecosystem, in the e-mobility market. I have another question for you, Arjen. So, like Irina explained before, do you have a small example that you can provide about, let me say, a detailed topic you are facing at the moment on the token security working group, or something that you are planning to face in the future?
Yeah, well, if you look at our cooperation and the project that we are running, it's unique because there have been other initiatives to introduce a more secure technique, other techniques to make the tokens more secure, but it was always from one party, and the adoption by other market parties was limited. So we are now driving the token security initiative, where we actually work together with a lot of different stakeholders. And then you have, for example, the card issuers, you have the networks, but we have also some hardware manufacturers in the group that that participate in the talks and in the discussions that we have. And if you look at one more practical example, if you go to a more advanced token, an example is that not all hardware in the field is able to read more advanced cards, and yeah, to make it very technical, if you talk at specialists, then we have about the power, the field strength, the amount of power that is broadcasted from a charger and an RFID reader towards cards. And that is sometimes limited. Together with the hardware manufacturers and also with all the CPOs that participate in our initiative, we are really looking into per country what kind of hardware is already in the market installed, and if that gives some constraints or has also gives some requirements in our solution that we are working to. So it's really included with all parties together.
Thank you a lot, Arjen, for your input. Again, for me, it's always interesting, but I see a lot of people shaking their hands and saying yes. So
Yeah.
I guess it's getting more and more interesting also for them. So we had the opinion of the CPO, of the EMSP, and now we go on the other side of the ecosystem, let's say. Let's start with AMPECO, with the platform representative, with Peter. So AMPECO joined eViolin, if I'm not wrong, last year.
Beginning of the year.
Beginning of this year. What's your experience so far of being a member of eViolin?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the community is very welcoming, first off. This was my first impression. And really the cadence of meetings is very useful for us as a company because, as you can imagine, the CSMS, the CPMS, it's in a very ideal place to mitigate and address a lot of those topics as well. So for us, for example, the operational meeting that happens really gives us very good insights into, often topics that we might have not thought about even, that we haven't really encountered ourselves, but some other people are, or vice versa. We can see what are certain trends, and it's really impressive how, as you mentioned earlier, companies who would typically not collaborate choose to collaborate because there's actually benefit in it, which is to have an agreed approach, which can be then scaled across the industry. So those operational meetings have been really useful for us in that regard. And also, in my role, I basically coordinate activities. So I make sure that I inform our subject matter experts. And we've done some interesting things on the topic of risk, vulnerability, fraud, that I can speak a bit more. But that's just the overall impression of someone who's been around not since the inception, but certainly at times where also I imagine the association is evolving.
Absolutely, but please go on and tell us more about the operational guidelines you have already developed or you are working on to develop.
Yeah, I mean, basically stepping onto the different matrices and the identified cases. We also contributed to identifying those cases of fraud. It's something that's being led by a person from Jako's team, and it's important to get all those feedbacks from different markets as well, because different examples can be seen across markets. Some are replicated, others not. And it helped us to really introduce policies in place, make sure that we enhanced some of our the way that we assign roles and things like that, which of course is something that we've thought of before, but now we have also the blueprint of the experience of all other companies who are doing that, which was really useful.
Thank you, Peter. I think that hearing this story from you can make eViolin member even more proud of what they do, because it means that what we are doing makes sense. So.
Yeah.
And then we go to Adriana. So last but not least, of course, we just announced Hubjet becoming a member of eViolin yesterday, if I'm not wrong. So welcome again.
Thank
it's
you.
a pleasure to have you on board. And can you tell us a bit more on why Hubjet decided to join eViolin, and what do you expect actually?
Yeah, so we are definitely the most recent addition in terms of membership, and we are very happy to be on board. As you know, Hubjet has a vision of driving interoperability across the ecosystem, and this is a vision that we cannot achieve on our own. So we need collaboration across a wide range of stakeholders. So what we are trying to do with the membership, we believe eViolin is actually a very valuable platform. It has grown a lot from a Dutch initiative to, let's say, a European and even global organization in relevance for the industry. And also we are looking to share from our own expertise, but also to learn from the other participants, right? Because this vision of charging anytime, anywhere, to have the charging stations that are safe and secure, and to choose your own preferred method of payment, this is still a vision, right? We still have a lot of building blocks to work on, and this can only be done through cooperation via the entire ecosystem.
Well, I hope you will get what you're looking for. I'm sure, actually. A quick question. Can you already foresee 2 statements, 2 topics that you would like to face at eViolin together with the members? Could be even a new working group, eh?
Of course, I already saw a lot of interesting points from Irina, for example, on the POI data, actually, because we're also working on improving, the reliability, accuracy of POI data. So this is a very valuable topic, and also security, right? We are not working on the token solutions, but on plug and charge, let's say, so on the digital part, right, on working on the ISO 15118 standard, in increasing security. So I think there's a lot to be done there as well.
Can I mention?
Perfect. Thank you, Adriana.
Thank you so much.
So we still have 9 minutes left. Peter, I take advantage. I make a short question to all of you, if possible.
Of course, yeah.
So what do you expect from eViolin in 2026? Really, in few words, can even be one word if you are so good at synthesis, let's say. So Irina, we start from you.
And again, no pressure.
You're setting the bar very high, Irina.
Yeah, again.
I don't think I can do it in one word. Sorry, I'm not that high yet.
Even 3 is fine.
In public speaking, without any preparation. But I think now that we have so many new members on board, and with the full revamp of eViolin Association in the last year, with Hubject on board, I think we're going to look at everything from completely new angles, because this is what we were lacking in the past. We did have the MSPs, we did have the CPOs, we knew what were the challenges, but we didn't have the platforms who are, in many, many cases, connecting us on the technical level. So I'm really looking forward to having those discussions. I'm also looking forward to getting more and more external speakers, something that we have introduced pretty recently. So those who are part of the ecosystem, but not really within the end-to-end process between CPO and MSP. Sorry, that was a bit too much, more than one
No
word.
problem. I saw the board taking notes. So. Arjen, what about you?
To put it in one word, is enthusiasm. I'm always impressed by the amount of energy that all the members are putting into working together, doing their actions. Actually, all actions are usually also delivered as discussed. So I'm always positive surprised about how much people are putting in this organization, and loving it.
Perfect. We too. Peter?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'd expect more of what I've seen so far, really, new projects kicking in, new initiatives that matter. On the topic of security, I imagine there will be a lot until the end of the year, and also going to next year, not only because there's an evolving landscape of risks and vulnerabilities that are coming up, but also companies stepping up and implementing introducing stricter processes, so that ultimately the industry wouldn't struggle with loss of revenue and loss of consumer trust, which I believe are very important right now as we scale. And having that universal approach. Someone mentioned earlier, yes, indeed, the organization was primarily Dutch, and back in my day, when I started working in the sector, I knew it as this organization that takes care of the codes of the CPOs, EMSPs, and whatnot. I think that's going to change even more next year. I mean, this year we see it changing with new companies joining, but I certainly believe that next year there will be even more, people from companies from different countries joining. So I see a lot of that as well.
Let's conquer US.
Yeah, let's see. Let's go step by step. And then Adriana, you almost already answered before,
Yes.
but if you want to add something on top.
Well, actually, in one word, if I would be given the opportunity to choose, I would choose collaboration, right? Because we see our industry is growing, so we have also more layers of complexity. So I think this is only something that we can tackle together. But also these complexities, in my opinion, shouldn't be passed on to the consumer. So on the other hand, we have to ensure that the EV journey is as seamless and as secure as possible. So all these complexities are actually not visible. For the EV driver, when he shows up to a charging station, he just has to work, and that's it. And that's, I think, our common goal, because Irina, you mentioned, we might be competitors or we might have different angles, but I think what unites us is actually this one goal to kind of create that seamless and secure journey for the EV driver.
Driver is our end goal, right?
Exactly.
So you see how things work in eViolin, no? The discussion starts and
We already are
it
fully
never
aligned,
stops.
so
Ready to start a new working group.
Yeah. So thanks again for your, I would say, super valuable inputs. Please, a big applause to our members.
thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
for
to
moderating.
Yeah, sure.
It was great.
My
Yeah.
pleasure. Thanks to AMPECO for hosting us.
You must do something with it.
And we went through a few details about eViolin. We could really speak about it for 3 days. So if you want to know more information, please reach out to me, to Jaakko, Roland, the other board members, but also to the member itself. They will be more than happy to share their knowledge. Of course, if you're already a member, please continue being member. If you're not a member, ask yourself why you're not yet a member and join us.
And get to a very existential discussion here.
That's why we are here. AMPECO
be or
told
not to
us
be a member.
we need to get at least a couple of leads, otherwise
Main
next year.
conclusion of
no more
the
space.
panel, right? Why am I not a member still?
Thank you very much, everybody. I think that the main conclusion we can have is that only all together, this is the example I can see, we can drive interoperability in Europe, and that's what we try to do with eViolin. Thank you very much. Enjoy the trade fair.